Good morning, everybody. The other day we gave you the information on making a bread starter, or the bread starter we use. And today Dell's going to go ahead and mix up the loaf and let it rise, and then we'll cook it. So away he goes with that information.
Good morning, everybody. Okay, we're going to do a bread recipe. It's our bread recipe that we have used. And we've already got starter here. So we start out with 3 cups of warm water, not hot water, warm water. It can be warm tap water. If you get the water too hot, it kills the yeast. Then we use 2 packets of yeast, which is 4 teaspoons. Put that in there. We got the warm water. Got baking soda, 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Got 3 teaspoons of salt.
You can do it.
4 teaspoons of sugar. We get that stirred up so it dissolves our yeast.
While he's stirring that up, I'll let you know, you can see the Dutch oven's off to your left there. He put that out to start pre-warming with the sun. We don't want it hot by any means, but we're going to put the dough in there when he gets it mixed up and let it rise in there, and then we'll cook it later.
Yeast kind of clumped on me, so I want to get the clumps out of it so it spreads through the bread better.
And as the same as when we were using the when we were making the starter, use a wooden spoon, non-metallic bowls, and all that stuff. It's better for the yeast and everything.
And we use in this recipe 2 cups of starter. We've already made the starter. It's been sitting. This is a half cup. So
and you mixed it up real well this morning before you.
Yes. Mixed it up. This is a half cup.
So you're putting 4 of those in.
4 of those.
Which is 2 cups.
Get that stirred up. It smells good.
Yeah, I can smell it.
Okay, then we just start mixing our flour in. And this recipe calls for 6 cups of flour, but it all depends on how thick or thin your starter is.
Okay.
So it's approximately 6 cups. So what we start doing is just start putting it in.
That's a 1 cup thing there, right?
This is 1 cup.
You don't worry about getting all the lumps out at first.
No.
As you can tell, it's approximately 1 cup.
Because sometimes your starter is thicker than other times, and what you do is get down to a consistency.
Yeah.
Keep doing this until as you'll see as we get closer, that it gets kind of thick. But you got to keep going until it, as you're stirring it, it comes away from the side of the bowl.
Yeah, it's still pretty thin.
It's still pretty thin. It's starting to thicken up.
And I think you're at 3 cups so far. Looks like at least 2 more cups on that. Starting to get legs.
Yeah, it's starting to get there. You can see it.
Yeah.
See how it's pulling away? It's not runny anymore.
But we can tell it's still pretty loose, so
it's still pretty wet.
Yeah.
See, now that I got it stirred a little bit, it's starting to stick to the sides again. We still need more flour. Yeah, we're getting there.
Still damp enough, though, huh?
Still pretty damp.
Yeah, we're getting close to 6 cups. I know some of these haven't been full cups, so...
And part of that 6 cups is we need to put some out here on the board when we start doing it with our hands. That's the final. Yeah, we're getting close where we can dump it out.
Pre-flour the board. Oh, sorry, I'm in the picture here.
Still pretty wet.
Yeah.
And then from then, we start doing it by hand.
Okay, and you put quite a bit of extra on because it's still pretty wet, huh?
Yeah. And you just start working it. See, it's still kind of sticky to the fingers. You can see it's still sticky in there, so you got to keep working that flour in.
This is kind of the fun part. You know, it's kind of like playing with Play-Doh.
It's pretty close there because it's not just barely sticking to my fingers. We'll get a little bit more on there.
Now, do you have some oil in the Dutch
yet.
oven already? Okay.
I'll show you how to do that here in just a minute.
That's okay, just checking.
Yeah, that's pretty close, like that.
Uh-huh.
Just kind of
And
make.
you don't worry about the creases and stuff because they all kind of come out in the cooking.
Yeah, it don't matter. Pinch them together if you don't like it.
Don't bother me.
And we have to pre-oil our oven.
That paper you had in there was to, like when you store the Dutch oven and you've cleaned it and oiled it, you kind of put that paper in there so it breathes a little and doesn't
Right, so it doesn't turn rancid.
Got it.
But
And you don't leave a lot of, you wipe out almost all the oil you can before you store it too.
But you oil it pretty liberally
For the bread?
for the bread.
Uh-huh.
So you kind of, not a puddle, but make sure you have some on the sides, because that bread will actually come out against the sides, and you don't want it sticking to the sides. As you can see, that's pretty wet.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah, it's not an inch thick or anything, but it's
Bread right in the middle. Kind of form it a little bit so it'll maybe come back evenly.
Then about how long does this take to
It should
rise?
Hour and a half maybe. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the lid on this, but I'm going to move it out of the sun, because I have done them in the sun with these black pots in the sun. It gets too hot and it melts it.
Okay, but you kind of can't get too shady either, huh?
No, I'll put it, it just needs to stay warm. It's warm to the touch now, and that's what I want it to stay. The breeze is blowing today.
Set it inside maybe over there where it gets some air circulation.
Yeah, I don't want it in the sun.
Oh, I see, yeah.
The sun is what's going to make it too hot. I'm
Okay.
going to set it in the shade underneath this table. It'll still stay warm enough. As long as it's at least room temperature, it'll still rise.
So just come out and check it once
And
in a
I'll
while.
come back, I check, and I'll come out and touch it. If it gets too cool, I'll set it back out in the sun again, because I want it to rise. It should at least double in size.
And how long are we letting it rise?
Hour, hour and a half.
Okay, and we don't peek at it till at least an hour.
No, at
Okay.
least an hour. Depending on your temperature, if it's cool, it takes longer to rise. You can actually, in cool weather, you can let it rise all night long.
Oh, cool.
And it will rise.
Cool.
But it just takes longer when it's cooler. So we'll let that set for an hour to hour and a half, and then by that time, I'm going to get some coals going, and so we'll start baking it after a while. So we'll be
Okay,
back.
see you in a while.
And I've got the Dutch oven sitting down here in the shade, but I've got a wind guard around it so the wind doesn't cool it off too much.
Okay, let me take a look here.
Underneath
Whoops.
the table.
Hi guys, you just went for a walk with me.
And that way it'll stay warm enough, because the temperature's warm enough, but the breeze is blowing, and that should rise.
Good. Did you feel it again as we're out here?
Yeah, I'm still good.
Perfect. Okay, more to come. Okay, so it's been a little bit over an hour. Dell's going to set this out here, and we'll check and see how that bread did as far as rising up and getting ready to be cooked. He also at this time started some coals getting ready so we can cook this outdoors.
Get a close look, because I'm not going to open it very
Okay. Oh, look at that.
long. Can you see it?
I think so.
I don't want to leave it open too long to you.
Okay, the bread has risen really good. Dell got some coals started in his, he has this chimney that he uses. That round thing he just took off there, he'll put back on. That's to kind of keep the wind from getting too carried away. And then how many coals you putting on the bottom, how many on the top, Dell, to cook this bread?
This is a 12-inch oven.
12 deep?
12 deep. So total is approximately 24 coals.
And that is to make 350 degrees is what this cooks at.
325
Or 325, okay.
And you put approximately twice as many on top as you do on the bottom. So if we use 24 coals, then approximately 12 on the top and 8 on the bottom. No. Well, 24. Ouch. So we'll go 16 on the top and 8 on the bottom, roughly.
Got it.
And the ones on the bottom, I put out at the edge.
Don't put any in the center, in other words.
Put one in the center. But actually, on a 12-inch oven is small enough diameter, you probably don't need any on the in the center, because it'll radiate that far in. And the reason I put them right at the outer edge is so it has the heat coming right up the edge. That way,
Okay.
That way it will brown that outer edge of the bread.
Okay.
We get those set like that.
You're dropping coals.
Put some on top. Put some on top. We put them around the edge, on the outer edge.
Little roasty toasty there.
Yep. And I figured, and that's approximately. I mean, there's no.
Like sometimes
exact.
we've had to cook in foggy weather, and we'll put more on because for some reason that extra dampness seems to cause some cooking problems. Cold wind or really cold weather, we've cooked in 14 degrees before.
So this is actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15 or 16 around the edge. So actually, as if they're new ones.
You mean fresh one? Yeah, fresh where
If they're fresh ones, on a 12-inch oven, just put a ring around the outside, and that's approximately the right number.
Okay, how long is this going to cook?
45 minutes. And we're going to put this back around it to keep the wind from blowing, because if you have a wind blowing, the wind will come across here and there'll be a cold side and a hot side.
Got it.
And with this, it equals it all the way around. So the heat's coming right straight up. So we'll just let that cook for 45 minutes. If you start smelling bread in 20 minutes, it's too hot.
Okay.
If you smell bread in 35 minutes, then that's about right.
Okay. Okay. It has been about 45 minutes and the bread is done. Oh my gosh, look at that crust. He's going to take a knife, just kind of go around the edge to loosen it up if it's stuck anywhere. The oil he put on there earlier should have it in pretty good shape. And he's going to take that now. We've got a cutting board set up over here on the table. Kind of like a pineapple upside down cake. Dump it out. There is the loaf of bread. We're going to turn it over. And as you can see, it should feed quite a few people. We're going to let it sit for a few minutes. Take some of it over to our neighbor. And we'll eat some. Jason will eat some. Great with butter. It's best while it's still warm. Once it gets cold, it's not as good. And
makes good French toast, though.
Yeah, and it also makes good cinnamon toast.
Cinnamon toast, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Warm it up and put butter and cinnamon sugar on it. Oh my gosh, it's great. Okay, and that's it, folks. Enjoy your bread, I hope, and talk to you later.
Love you.